はい、それではご来席の皆様、ご列席の皆様、本日は Let's be Sustainable ハンガリーの養蜂におけるイノベーションと持続可能性についてをテーマにしたイベントにご参加いただき誠にありがとうございます。本イベントはハンガリー農業省の主催により開催されます。皆様方が本日この会場に足を運んでくださったのは、単純に蜂蜜の味を愛せるためのものだけではないと思っております。ミツバチが持続可能な農業と食料産業の鍵を握る存在であることをご存知であるからなのではないでしょうか。安定した未来を築くためには、ミツバチと養蜂を守り支えていくことが不可欠です。本日のイベントは基本的に英語で行われます。開会のご挨拶だけがハンガリー語と日本語で行われますが、それ以外は英語となります。スクリーンの方に出てまいります QR コードを読み取っていただきますと、日本語の翻訳が出てまいりますので、必要な方はお使いください。それでは開会にあたりまして、ハンガリー農業大臣ナディシパンよりご挨拶をいただきます。ナディ大臣は養蜂の振興に特に力を入れておられますが、これからのスピーチの中でその理由についても明かしてくださいます。So, Honorable Minister, Your Excellency Ambassador, dear ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to welcome you here today to the conference titled Let's Be Sustainable, Innovation and Sustainability in Hungarian Beekeeping. I'm confident that you are here today not only because you appreciate the taste of honey, but because you also understand the vital role bees play ensuring sustainable agriculture and secure food system. To build a predictable and stable future, it's essential that we protect our bees and support beekeeping. The language of today's program is basically English. Only the keynote speak will be held in Hungarian in Hungarian and Japanese. So if you prefer to listen to the presentations in your own language, please feel free to use the QR code, and you can select your preferable language. So it's a great honor now to invite our keynote speaker, Dr. István Nagy, Minister of Agriculture of Hungary, to officially open this event. Minister Nagy is a strong advocate for beekeeping, and in his speech, you will hear now more about the reason why this cause is so important to him. So, Minister, the floor is yours. それでは大臣よろしくお願いいたします。
Jó napot kívánok mindnyájuknak, nagy tisztelettel köszöntök én is mindenkit, tisztelt Hölgyeim és Uraim!
本日は皆様方ご来館いただきましてありがとうございます。
Nagy tisztelettel köszöntöm Önöket a Fenntarthatóság a méhészeti ágazatban című konferenciánkon.
本日は養蜂における持続可能性をテーマとしたイベントにご参加いただki誠にありがとうございます。心より歓迎申し上げます。
Ma este olyan ágazat kerül reflektorfénybe, amely gazdasági jelentőségén jóval túlmutató szerepet tölt be a mindennapi életünkben.
今夜私たちが注目するのは単なる産業分野っていう枠を超え、私たちの暮らしと環境に深く関わる重要な営みです。
Nem csak azért kell megbecsülnünk és értékelnünk a méhészeket, mert munkát és megélhetést adnak, hozzájárulnak a gazdaság teljesítményéhez. Nem csak azért kell támogatnunk őket, mert egészséges és mondhatni alapvető élelmiszert állítanak elő. A méz ugyanis azon kevés ételek egyike, amely egyedül is képes fenntartani az emberi életet.
養蜂家の方々に単に雇用を生み出し、経済を支えているから尊敬に値するのではありません。また健康的でいわば人間の生命を維持する上で貴重な食べ物である蜂蜜を生産しているからだけでもありません。実際蜂蜜には人間の生命を単独で維持しうる稀有な食品の一つとも言われています。
A méhészek és a méhek biztosítják, hogy olajozottan működjön az agrárium és az élelmiszeripar, hiszen kulcsszerepet játszanak a beporzásban. Stratégiai szerepük van az ökológiai egyensúly, a biológiai sokféleség megőrzésében, és ezen keresztül a mezőgazdaság fenntarthatóságában is. A számokban akarjuk kifejezni ezt a jelentőséget, világszerte a termesztett növényeink 76%-a, Európában 80%-a, míg a vadon élő virágos növényfajoknak csaknem 90%-a függ legalább részben a beporzók munkájától.
養蜂家とミツバチは農業と食品産業が円滑に機能するために欠かせない存在です。その理由は彼らが送粉という極めて重要な役割を担っているからです。送粉は生態系のバランスや生物多様性を維持し、ひいて農業の持続可能性を確保する上で戦略的に不可欠な要素となっています。その重要性を数字で申し上げますと、世界全体で栽培されている作物の 76%、ヨーロッパにおいては 80%、そして野生の花を咲かせる植物種の実に 90% 近くが何らかの形で送粉者の働きに依存しています。
Az Európai Unió mezőgazdasági termelése éves szinten mintegy 5 milliárd euró értékben közvetlenül függ a beporzók tevékenységétől, de közvetve ezek többszörösét érik el a hasznuk.
EU における農業生産のうち年間約50億ユーロ相当の送粉者の活動によって直接的に支えられており、間接的な恩恵を含めればその価値はさらに大きなものとなります。
Nagyon egyszerűen fogalmazva, ha nincs beporzás, nincs termés, nincs élelmiszer. Méhek és méhészek nélkül a világunk nem fenntartható. Méhek, beporzók nélkül a civilizációnk elpusztulna, ahogyan arra már Einstein is korábban figyelmeztetett bennünket.
つまり送粉がなければ作物が実らず、食料も確保できません。ミツバチと養蜂家がいなければ私たちの世界は持続可能ではありません。ミツバチや送粉者がいなければ人類の文明そのものが破壊しかねない。そう警鐘を鳴らしたのはかのアインシュタインでした。
A méhek és beporzók védelme ezért nem kizárólag a méhészek, a tudósok vagy a döntéshozók feladata. Ez mindannyiunk közös felelőssége, közös ügye.
故にミツバチや送粉者を守ることは科学者、生産者、政治家だけの責任ではありません。これは私たち一人一人の課題であり、私たち全員の責任でもあります。
Közösen kell gondoskodnunk arról, hogy a beporzóknak legyen hol élniük és legyen mit enniük. Egy-egy virágoskert, egy-egy rovarhotel, egy-egy gyümölcsfa is hozzájárul, hogy fennmaradjanak, hogy mi is fennmaradjunk.
彼らが生きていく場所と食料を確保できるよう、私たちにできることはたくさんあります。小さな花壇、昆虫の住処となる虫ホテル、一本の果樹さえも送粉者の生存に寄与します。それはつまり私たち自身の未来を守ることにもつながります。
Tisztelt Hölgyeim és Uraim, a mai konferencia előadói egy olyan országot képviselnek, ahol a méhészkedés ősi, nagy hagyományokkal és kultúrával bíró foglalkozás. Ennek is köszönhető, hogy Európában, Magyarországon van az egyik legnagyobb méhsűrűség. Minden négyzetkilométerre 13 méhcsalád jut, hazánkban csaknem 1,2 millió méhcsalád és mintegy 20 000 méhész él.
ハンガリーでは養蜂が深くからの伝統と豊かな文化を持ち、ヨーロッパでも有数のミツバチ密度を誇っており、1平方キロメートルあたり約13群のミツバチが飼育されています。国内には120万人のミツバチ群とおよそ2万人の養蜂家が活動しています。
Elárulom önöknek, hogy én magam is méhész vagyok, és méhész gazdaként mintegy 150 méhcsaládot gondozok. Sőt, miniszterként még a budapesti irodám erkélyére is telepítettem méhkaptárat, és büszke vagyok rá, hogy az itt termelt mézzel megkínálhatom a vendégeket. Bízom benne, hogy a jövőben japán kollégákat is megvendégelhetek, és megkínálhatok majd itt.
ここで少し個人的なお話をさせていただきますと、実は私自身も養蜂に取り組んでおりまして、約150群のミツバチを育てています。そして自分のブダペストにある事務所のバルコニーにも養蜂箱、つまりミツバチの巣を設置し、来客の皆様にはそこで採れた自家製の蜂蜜を提供しております。いつか日本の皆様にも味わっていただければと願っております。
Magyarországon a méhészkedésre mind kulturális, mind ökológiai szempontból nemzeti értékként tekintünk, és az Európai Unió legnagyobb méztermelői közé tartozunk.
ハンガリーでは養蜂は文化的にも生態学的にも国家的価値として位置づけられており、私たちはヨーロッパ連合の中でも最大級の蜂蜜産国の一つです。
Évente mintegy 30 000 tonna mézet termelünk, amelynek nagy része exportra kerül.
年間の生産量は2万5000から3万トンに上り、その約 60% が輸出に回されています。
A legismertebb termékünk az akácméz, ez a világos, kevésbé savas, akácvirágillatú aranyló csoda, amelyet Hungarikumként tartunk számon.
中でも最も有名なのが世界的にも知られるアカシア蜂蜜です。その特徴は淡く黄金色に輝く見た目とマイルドで酸味の少ない風味、そしてアカシアの花の優しい香りです。私たちはこの蜂蜜をハンガリー固有の伝統的特産品Hungarikumとして誇りに思っております。
Különlegességét a Kárpát-medence egyedi klímájában élő hatalmas akácerdők adják, ugyanakkor számos más prémium kategóriás fajtamézzel is büszkékedhetnek a magyar méhészek. A tavalyi évben egy magyar mézet saját kategóriájában a világ 3, összességében a világ 30 legjobb méze közé választottak. Az Európai Unión kívül Japán a magyar méz legnagyobb felvevő piaca, 1600 tonna éves mennyiséggel. A méz 90%-a akác, és majdnem minden üveg kiszerelésében érkezik ide.
その希少性はカルパチア盆地という独特の気候風土に保護された広大なアカシアの森に由来しています。もちろんアカシア蜂蜜以外にもハンガリーの養蜂家たちはさまざまな高品質な単花蜜を生産しており、近年では世界的に品評会においてあるハンガリー産の蜂蜜が部門別で世界ベスト3に、総合でもトップ30に選ばれるという快挙を成し遂げました。そしてハンガリー蜂蜜にとって EU 以外でも最大の輸出市場は日本であります。年間で約1600トンが日本に輸出され、その 90% がアカシアの蜂蜜であり、ほとんどが瓶詰めされた状態でお届けしています。
A magyar méz, sőt általában a méz csodájáról hosszan lehetne még beszélni, ez is megérne egyébként egy külön konferenciát. Ma azonban azt kell megvitatnunk, hogy az ágazat hogyan tud alkalmazkodni a világváltozó körülményeihez. Hogy milyen szakmai kihívásoknak, feltételeknek kell megfelelni a fenntarthatóság és egyben a fennmaradás biztosítása érdekében.
ハンガリー産の蜂蜜、そして蜂蜜そのものが持つ奇跡についてはまだまだ語り尽くせないほど多くの魅力があります。これだけで一つの国際会議が開けるほどの価値があると私は思っています。しかし本日私たちが真剣に向き合うべきことは、養蜂業が変化し続ける環境に今後どのように対応し、持続可能性と制御として継続性の両立をどう実現していくかという観点です。そのために求められている専門的な課題、必要な条件について議論を含めていくことが本ディスカッションの大きな目的であります。
Az első és a legfontosabb feladat, hogy tudatosítsuk, a jelenleg tapasztalható ütemben, ha folytatódik a beporzó rovarok pusztulása, akkor jelentősen csökkenni fog a növényeink termése.
まず何よりも重要なのは、今まさに私たちが直面している送粉者の減少が作物の収穫量に深刻な影響を及ぼすという現実を社会全体で強く意識することです。
Ezzel párhuzamosan pedig a természet- és környezetvédelmi feladatok mellett egyre nagyobb hangsúlyt kell fektetni a méhészeti technológiai fejlesztésére, a szaktudás folyamatos fejlesztésére, új innovatív módszerek alkalmazására és a méhészeteket érintő támogatáspolitikára.
それに加えて自然保護、環境保全といった課題にとどまらず、養蜂に関する技術革新、知識の継続的なアップデート、新たな手法の導入、そして政策的な支援の在り方にもますます注目と取り組みが求められています。
Magyarország ebben példát mutat. A fenntarthatóság és az innováció jegyében az Európai Unióban elsőként vezettük be a méhek után járó állatjóléti támogatást. A célunk a méhcsaládok ökoszisztéma szolgáltató képességének fejlesztése, a méhegészségügyi problémák megelőzése, valamint a méhek higiéniai és állatvédelmi feltételeinek biztosítása.
この点においてもハンガリーはヨーロッパの中で先端的なモデルを示しています。私たちは EU の中で初めてミツバチに対する動物複製支援制度を導入しました。この制度の目的はミツバチの健康維持、生態系上の役割の強化、そして衛生的で良好な飼育環境の整備にあります。ミツバチ、そして養蜂家が今後安心してその営みを続けられるようにすること、それが私たちの使命です。
A méhcsaládonkénti évi 30 eurós támogatással azt is elismerjük, hogy a méhészek nem csak mézet, méhpempőt vagy virágport állítanak elő, de a beporzási tevékenységgel értéket teremtenek.
一群のミツバチあたり年間30ユーロの支援を通じて、私たちは蜂蜜の生産者としてだけでなく、送粉という無形の価値を創出する存在として養蜂家の皆様を正当に評価しています。
A mai konferencián számos más magyar méhészeti innovatív eszközöket is bemutatunk, amelyek a nemzetközi méhésztársadalom érdeklődésére is számot tarthatnak. A magyar szakemberek ismertetik önökkel többek között a szántóföldi és a természetes méhlegelőkben rejlő újabb lehetőségeket, a különböző edukációs programokat és természetesen a legújabb termékeket is.
本日のパネルディスカッションでは、ハンガリーの養蜂分野における数々の革新的な取り組みもご紹介いたします。これらの新技術やツールは、国際的な養蜂コミュニティの皆様にとっても関心を集める価値のあるものだと確信しております。例えば、耕作地や自然の蜜源、いわゆるミツバチ牧場の新たな可能性、養蜂に関するさまざまな教育プログラム、そして最先端の製品群などについて、ハンガリーの専門家たちから直接ご紹介させていただきます。
A mai nap remek alkalom arra, hogy szakmai párbeszédet folytassunk és tapasztalatokat osszunk meg, és új gondolatokat formáljunk egy fenntartható és biztonságos jövő érdekében. Köszönöm, hogy jelenlétükkel is támogatják ezt a közös ügyet. Kívánok tartalmas, inspiráló eszmecserét és sikeres együttműködést a fenntartható méhészet szolgálatában.
本日はまさにみんなで知見を交換し合い、互いに学び合い、新たなアイディアを生み出すための絶好の機会です。そしてそれは持続可能で安全な未来の実現へとつながる第一歩でもあります。その大切な共通の目的にご出席という形でご支援いただいていることに心より感謝申し上げます。
Köszönöm szépen.
本日はありがとうございます。大臣ありがとうございました。はい、それではナギ大臣、興味深いお話ありがとうございました。大臣もお話しされましたように、ミツバチは生態系にとって非常に重要な存在です。この点についてさらに深く掘り下げていただくのが、ブック国立公園管理局を代表しまして講談いただくアラニ・イルディコさんです。イルディコさんからは、生物多様性の観点からミツバチはどれほど大きな役割を果たすのか、植物栽培への影響、そして気候変動がミツバチに与える影響についてお話しいただきます。その前にハンガリーと養蜂を紹介する短い映像をご覧いただきます。 So thank you very much, Minister, for your insightful remarks. As the Minister highlighted, bees are a crucial part of our ecosystem. To further explore this topic, we will soon hear from Ms. Ildikó Arany, representing the Bükk National Park Directorate. She will speak about the importance of bees in terms of biodiversity, their impact on plant cultivation, and how climate change is affecting them. But before that, please enjoy a short film introducing Hungary and its beekeeping traditions.
We are about to land in Budapest, Hungary.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister has already mentioned the importance of pollination, so let me tell you a few more thoughts about that and the role of honeybees. Pollination is basically the link between the male and female parts of plants, setting the stage for the continuation of a plant's life cycle. More often than not, in the case of about 90% of plant species, this link is created by animals, the pollinators. And while basically all animal groups can act as pollinators, most of the cases it is done by insects. The evolution of the plants, the flowering plants that we can see today, was driven by the co-evolution between plants and insects. That's the reason, basically, why we see this beautiful diversity of flowers all around us. And that's the reason why we see this beautiful diversity of insects as well. We have in the planet at about 200,000 species of butterflies and moth species altogether. And there is a similar number of fly species. In fact, this one in the picture is specialized for pollinator. It is called a bee fly with 6,000 different species. And hoverflies as well, specialized flies for pollinator. But we can talk about basically all insect groups, like wasps and beetles, and ants and cockroaches, and so on. However, the real champions of pollination, of insect pollination, are definitely bees. because they have several specialized biological adaptations that makes them really unique in the world of pollination. Now there are over 20,000 different known bee species in the world. And what are these specific features that they have as the champions of pollinators? Well, for example, they have hairy bodies with electrostatic charge that's extremely good in trapping pollen grains. They have even developed specific pollen collecting structures, like these bowls you can see on their hind legs. These are honeybees, and they are called the pollen baskets. In fact, bumblebees are even capable of so-called buzz pollination, which is basically a vibration with which they can loose pollen grains that are held tightly within certain flowers, like cranberries and tomatoes. And all bees focus their complete diet on flowers. What does this mean? Other pollinators usually visit flowers for nectar as an energy source, but bees visit flowers for their protein diet as well, which means, in this case, the pollen. So their complete life cycle, including the development of their larvae, is depending on flowers. Then certain bees are social. That means that they don't live solitary, but they live in complex societies or colonies, like the honeybees or bumblebees or stingless bees. And that makes them extremely efficient in utilizing and pollinating mass flowering plants, like agricultural crops. That makes them the most important pollinators in agriculture. Also, they have the pollen fidelity, which means that they're consistent in visiting a certain plant species as long as it's flowering. So without insects and without bees, these berries would not be available, along with many other crops. As Honorable Minister has also mentioned, we are talking about some 75% of crop types globally, contributing to 35% of global crop production volume. And while the EU annual market value was mentioned, let me add the global estimation to that number, which is somewhere between 200 and 600 billion US dollars, that is attributable to animal pollination in every year. So, as I said, honeybees are the most efficient, therefore the most important pollinators in agriculture. But in fact, honeybees are not just one species. There are about 10 different species in this genus Apis. In Europe, only one occurs, the western honeybee, but in Japan, there is another native species, the Japanese honeybee. And well, in Japan, you will also find the western honeybee as well within the hives of beekeepers. So the western honeybee or the European honeybee is not just the most important, but the most numerous pollinator in the planet, because there are globally an estimated 81 million hives of managed honeybees. And they produce 1.6 million tons of honey every year, along with many other beekeeping products like beeswax, pollen, royal jelly, propolis. So I think now it's clear that bees are really necessary for our agricultural crop production and therefore for our food safety. And in this, I would like to also highlight the importance of wild bees, because a diverse community of pollinator is really more effective and certainly more safe for us than relying on only one species. But the global status of pollinators is not very optimistic, unfortunately, because more than 40% of wild pollinators are threatened with extinction globally. And even honeybees, the managed honeybees, have declined in a couple of European countries and in North America. What are the reasons for these declines? There are a couple of reasons. We can mention the land use change, the intensification of agriculture, the pesticide use, new pathogens, and climate change as well. As for climate change, let me tell you a few words about the recent survey that I was also involved in. There was a series of interviews with Hungarian beekeepers about their perception on climate change. We asked a couple of questions from them. One was their perceptions of the weather tendencies recently. And to really briefly summarize that, in Hungary, winters are becoming milder, while in spring there are cold spells and late frosts more and more often. Summers are more dry and hot, even arid recently, and autumns are also quite long and warm. So all of these tendencies interfere with bees' life cycle and also with plants, with their bee pastures, with their resources, and also the delicate synchrony between these two. We also asked beekeepers, what do they suggest? How to enhance the resilience of bees and of bee pastures in these changing times, in this climate change. As for the beekeeping technologies, the presenters after me will tell you more, so let me tell a few words about beekeepers' suggestions of the management of bee pastures. So what is key as a very important message is the diversity of habitats. In this picture, you can see an arable land. In Hungary, there we have a great portion of the country that is lowland and plowland, arable land. Agricultural fields are there. And it is extremely important to have natural habitats, which can be from grasslands to scrubs and trees, because these will supply bees with nectar and especially with pollen, also within the mass flow periods, the mass nectar flow. I would like to emphasize the importance of trees, because they, besides supplying bees, they create shelter for many other creatures as well. And when we talk about climate change, we really cannot underemphasize the importance of wetlands in a country like Hungary. So these natural habitats will provide the bees with a diversity of wildflowers all along the vegetation season, a stable supply of pollen, which is indispensable for their development and health. But let's not forget about of arable lands as well, because in this picture you can see a white plant. It's called Stachys annua, and this is an arable field, an agricultural weed. This used to be the second most important nectar source in Hungary at about 100 years ago. And now it's quite rare. And still on arable lands and agricultural fields, it's important to diversify the structure of crops. Also having minor crops like fodder crops or vegetables or medicinal herbs. And also planting the dedicated bee pastures, for example, as cover crops or in cities. Like this picture was taken in Budapest with a honeybee. As I said, these suggestions, these ideas come from Hungarian beekeepers, but actually they are very much in line with international policy recommendations that aim to conserve the pollinators, such as the Intergovernmental Science and Policy Platform for the Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, or the conventional biological diversity, or the European Union's biodiversity strategy for 2030. And for me, that says that beekeepers can be key stakeholders in identifying and monitoring pollinator protection measures, and thus they can contribute to long-term food security of the whole society. So I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, 荒荷子さん、ありがとうございました。続きまして、ハンガリーにおける養蜂の一年を紹介する映像をご覧いただきます。その後は、ハンガリー全国養蜂協会を代表しまして、ボーナイ・アンドラシさんにご登壇いただきます。環境の持続性の視点から、この30年間でミツバチの蜜源となる植生がどのように変化していったのかお話しいただきます。So our next film will take you through the 4 seasons of beekeeping in Hungary, showcasing the annual rhythm of Hungarian apiculture. Following the film, we will welcome Dr. András Bónai, representing the National Hungarian Beekeepers Association. He will speak about environmental sustainability and how bee pastures have changed over the past 30 years.
Március eleje a hegyekben. Itt-ott hófoltok tarkítják még a tájat, de tavasz közeledtével a napsütés egyre erősebb. A hó is olvadásnak indul. Áprilisra a hegyekbe is megérkezik az igazi tavasz. Felélénkül a természet, virágba borulnak a növények. A méhek is szívesen járják az erdős vidékek, patakvölgyek fűzfáit és virágait. A kisebb gyümölcsösök is már nagyobb mennyiségű nektárt és virágport biztosíthatnak a méheknek, ha az időjárás is megfelelő. Ez idő tájt szerte az országban sárgába borulnak a szántóföldek. Virágzik az őszi káposztarecce. Fent északon még csak a galagonyabokrok öltöztek fehérbe. De már nem kell sokat várni, hiszen amint elvirágzik, remélhetőleg az akácfák is megteszik ugyanezt. Viszont az alföldi akácerdőkben sok helyen már beindult a virágzás. Magyarországon a 18. században kezdte el máig tartó hódító útját, és az alföldi fásítás legfontosabb növénye lett. Méhészeti szempontból viszont a legjelentősebb mézelők közé, amiről a világszerte ismert magyar akácmézet lehet pergetni. Az északi akácvirágok illata más vándorméhészeteket is vonzanak a hegyekbe. Gombamód nőnek ki a különböző kaptártípusok, konténerek és vándortanyák az erdőszéleken. Az itteni akácméztermés reményében sokakat a több órás út és a hosszú kilométerek sem riasztanak vissza, akár Magyarország legdélebbi megyéiből. Június eleje van. A nyár első hónapja még sok lehetőséget nyújthat a méhek számára. A jelenlegi osztrák-magyar határ közelében, a Mosoni síkságon lila színűre változtak a szántóföldek. Virágzásnak indult a mélyvirágfélék családjába tartozó mézontófű, más néven a facélia. Ez időtájt az őrségben is virágba borultak már a szelídgesztenyefák. A kolostorkertek kedvelt növénye, a levendula, mindent elborító lila virágmezőkké változtatta az ültetvényeket. A mezők réteg pirosba öltöznek a tengernyi pipacstól, vörösen izzanak a bíborherétől. Más szántóföldek fehér színben pompáznak az ilyenkor virágzó olajretektől. Néhány táblával arrébb pedig a fehér mustár is sárgállik. Ezt követően rövid időn belül a hársfák virágai is készen állnak majd a méhek fogadására. Júliusban a legfontosabb és a legnagyobb területen termesztett méhlegelő kezd virágba borulni. A napraforgó. Az Észak-Amerikából származó növényfaj döntően idegen termékenyülő növény, ezért a méhek megporzó munkája nélkülözhetetlen. A méhészek számára az egyik, de vannak területek, ahol a legfontosabb árumézet adó növényé vált az elmúlt években. Telelő népesség kialakulásában is fontos szerepet játszik, mivel a méhcsaládok most már a térre készülnek. A távolban a beköszönő télhófelhői gyülekeznek. Egy dolgos esztendő végére értek a méhcsaládok. A méhesben már csak a téli ellenőrzés és a nyugalom biztosítása vár a méhészekre. Beköszöntött a nagybetűs tél.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your invitation. Thank you for having me. I'd like to speak about the last 30 years of bee pasture in Hungary. But we have to maybe combine it a little bit, some other data. So Hungary, its territory, it's about 100,000 square kilometer, a little bit less, and it's approximately 4 times larger than Japan, 4 times larger than Hungary. And also the population, we can see it's very less in Hungary. So in Osaka, 8.8 million people live and around, and in Hungary only 10 million. So we can compare it. And yesterday we were in a train station around there. It's 10 million people go through here in Osaka in that station. So it's huge number for me. Okay. And I go back. Okay. And these 10 million people, every family, it means every family, there is at least one beekeeper. So everybody knows at least one beekeeper in their family. Then it's around 1.2 million beehives and bee families in Hungary. So it's a big number for us because every square kilometer we have 13 beehives. And nowadays, linden honey is start blooming in Hungary, and my area where my bees are collecting, for example, linden honey nowadays, many beekeepers come there, and they bring many beehives. So these days, it's not only 13 beehives in 1 square kilometer, it's some thousand beehives. From these 20,000 beekeeper, around 7% is professional. So they have more than 500, more than 1,000 beehives. In Hungary, we use many times one family in one beehive, so it's almost the same number. Sometimes it's different. Semi-professionals, more than 60%, and amateurs, around 30%. As we watch on the screen in the last video, the migratory is a very high number, because we want to get more and more nectars, and we have short periods for blooming. I will show it to you. So that's why it is more profitable if I can get more nectar into my hives. Many beekeepers say another version of beekeeping. They stay a bee farm and not move from there, and it could be also profitable, but only some regions, because other regions it's not possible to leave the beehives through the year. So it's necessary to move and transport them. Also, we watch some pictures about the Lake Balaton. It is very close. This picture was taken very close to Lake Balaton, and you see around these beautiful seasides. Also, we can collect nectars from canola. They use this word in USA, and in European Union we use rape or rape seed. The Latin name is Brassica napus. So it could be also a good nectar source for us. It's blooming in the spring, and the number of hives is enough high number of the flowers, so it's good for us. And the territory changed. You can see it's more than 10 times higher than in 1994. It was in 2018, and nowadays it's less and less. What is the reason? What is the reason of this changing? Because we are in the center of or center and eastern part of Europe, and we are in the European Union, and the regulation of using pesticides, it's very strict. And that's why the land farmers cannot use enough effective pesticides for them, and the price is very high. So less and less rape seed territory it is in Hungary. Now it's a tendency. But it's not a problem for us, because it's very good for the bees and the species, pollinators. Lack of plant protection products. So that's the reason. And there is a change also. And rapeseed territory is less and less, but others more and more in the field, so it's okay for us. The nectar also could be collected from other crops, for example, sunflower, Helianthus annus. It's in July, after the blooming of acacia and the blooming of basswood. So maybe 2 or 3 weeks later from now, it will start. And there is also a change in the territory of this sunflower. It's more than 4 times higher number nowadays than it was 30 years ago. And the reason, the demand for oil seeds, it's necessary to plant, to protect these plants and increase the number of these fields. It's also good for us, very good nectar sources and pollen sources. In May, acacia honey could be prepared by bees, but the name is not exactly good in scientific word, because the Latin name is Robinia pseudoacacia, and in America it's also black weed. So sometimes we use these words, and sometimes we use another. In Hungary, we use the last part of the Latin name, acacia, but it's not the same. In your country, it's Japanese acacia. In Hungary, we say these words, but it's in Latin, Sophora japonica. So it's very similar, but not the same species. Exactly. So the territory is increasing, and we like it so much because we can collect pure honey, and we can separate it from other flowers' nectar. Very good. So this pure honey is raw honey, pure honey, and it's very clear from this plant nectar. So climate change. It's also a problem in Hungary, but as you see in the map in the first slide, we are in a shelter. So around our country there are mountains. So the climate it's more continental, and that's the reason why we have good parameters and good climate parameters. A little bit drier, but the acacia or basswood and other trees can blooming, including according these parameters. So it's not a very big problem for us. So it's a change, but we try to solve this problem. More and more territory, and we like acacia tree also. It's very useful. Many other part of our life. For example, firewood or tools wood or handles, very useful, and good structure of the tree. And also invasive, but there is a changing. So maybe it could be it could be a good solution, like an answer to climate change. And every fourth tree in our forestry is acacia tree. if we check the territory. So it's a quite high number, and it's more and more nowadays. And in Hungary, there are more acacia forests than all other European Union countries combined. So that's why we can produce so much and so high level and so good quality, because it's pure acacia honey. And also another reason, economic increase in the area of private forests. So more than 40% of the territory of this forestry, it's private. So every time they want to get more and more profit. So it's good for us because we want to collect more and more nectar. So it's very, very good for us. Okay, and the next forestry, for example, in my area, it's basswood. It's also used in USA, and maybe you can know it's linden honey or linden tree. It's also possible. In Europe, it's more frequently used word. Tilia, we also use this word. And also the increase could be checked in this slide. So maybe it's more than 20% nowadays. The most important change in Hungary is bees pasture. Only in 2 sentences. Area of the most important honey plants is increasing, so it's good for us. Area of the most important pollen source plants is decreasing. It's bad for us. So it's we don't like it, but it's also a tendency, it's a climate change. Thank you for your kind attention. Domo arigato.
Well, thank you very much for the very informative presentation. はい、それでは博士どうもありがとうございました。非常に興味深いお話たくさんいただきました。さて、環境の変化に対応するためには、技術の進歩や革新的な取り組みが不可欠です。そうした興味深い技術やソリューションの一例を紹介してくださるのは、同じくハンガリー養蜂協会の代表しましてフェレンツ・シュテンツィさんにお話をいただきます。So, as we adopt the environmental changes, technological development and innovative solutions have become increasingly important. Next, Mr. Ferenc Stenzli, also from the National Hungarian Beekeepers Association, will present some of these fascinating innovations in the field of Hungarian beekeeping.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear Japanese colleagues, I would like to represent some simple but very useful tool which will make the Hungarian beekeepers' daily work easier and fight against the varroa mite more effective. Also, they help to preserve our honey quality and the sustainability in our apiaries. Let's start with our most commonly used tool, the smoker. Because of the closed firebox, it is safe and continuously refillable. We use natural smoke fuel materials like old woods, wood chips, and that lavender pellet, which has very good smell if it's fumed, and can calm down both the bees and the beekeepers. As worldwide, the varroa mites cause most of our problems in Hungary too. We tried many pesticides and chemicals in dozen different ways when it appeared in our country in the 1980s. But the mites became resistant to these chemicals sooner or later. So nowadays, our defense is only by natural way. We use oxalic acid, which can be found in many vegetables and honey also. It causes physical injuries on the antennas, mouths, and legs of the mite, so resistance cannot develop. There are 3 ways to use oxalic acid: the sublimation and the sprinkling for short term, and with hard paper strips for long-term effect. The oxalic acid sublimation is a very quick method. It takes less than 1 minute per colony, and we can use it several times without damage our bees. The effect lasts 3 to 4 days, so we can cover the 24-day capped brooding time by applying 7 times in every 3 days. That oxalic acid vaporizer is invented by a Hungarian beekeeper, and it was so successful that now he has a worldwide business. You can control the temperature digitally. The heater plate is in the bottom, and you have to put only 2 grams oxalic acid into the vaporizer. As you see, we use it from the back of the hive. You only have to drill a little hole and pull the pipe in it, while the hive entrance is closed for about 10 minutes. With the applicator, put oxalic acid in the cup, and the sublimalized gas came out of the pipe with high speed and density. It is very effective in broodless period, because the gas can reach every corner of the hive. The disadvantage, as you see, the gas is very dangerous to the lungs, so you must wear full face covering mask and closed clothes. The oxalic acid strip is an effective tool for keeping the mites level under control in any time of the year. It is easy to use, and you can do it yourself at home. Just briefly, first mix the oxalic acid in the right temperature with glycerin, put the hard paper strips in it, let the strips absorb this mixture, dry them, and finally put them between the frames if you have high frames, or lay them between the brood boxes. Protection is always important, so wear plastic or rubber gloves. Anyway, this idea came from Argentina, but the Hungarian beekeepers used it as soon as they heard about this method. If we would like to increase the efficiency of our treatment against the varroa mites, the best we could do is the suspension of brood. We do it at least once a year at the end of September to prepare our colonies for the winter with the lowest mite level as we can reach. During the honey producing season, it is more complicated, but we could combine it with the replace of the old queen to a new one. In this case, we need only 1 sublimation or sprinkling to keep the number of varroa low in the mid-season. This queen cage is our best tool to do the suspension of brood. It was created by a Hungarian beekeeper, and as you see, he used queen excluder. It provides contact between the queen and the workers. They can care about the queen, spread the queen pheromone in the hive, so the colony stays calm. They don't feel queenless, and they don't feel that there is something problem with the queen because she doesn't lay eggs. We put this cage in the middle of the hive, and in autumn, the bees don't build cells around this as usual. If you want to be successful in the fight against varroa mites, it's very important to continuously monitor the number of them. In a general beehive, it is difficult because you have to lift the boxes to see the surface of the bottom board, where the mice falling naturally or due to the oxalic acid treatment. So in Hungary, we use a special bottom board. We call it hygienic bottom board, which contains a metal or a plastic tray for the monitoring of the mites. This tray opens independently, so no need to open the hive and leave the boxes. Just pull out. It is quick and easy to check and clean the bottom of the hive. That's why we call it hygienic. The hive entrance is upper this tray, and there is a dense grid between them where the bees cannot pass, but the mites can fall down. If you take a white paper soaked in cooking oil on the tray, the falling but still living mites also get stuck on the paper and easy to count them. In Hungary, we focus attention on public education, especially for children. Beekeepers participate in marketplaces, festivals, expos. They go to the schools and make presentations about the advantages of the honey eating and the beauty and the importance of beekeeping. This helps children to insert the honey into their daily menu, is healthier, and prevent a lot of illnesses. They can learn that honey is a very good natural medicine, and they can use it instead of synthetic medicines, especially for sore throat or cough. The beekeepers show our tools also, and they can show with these frames, these educational frames, what's going on in a hive, how the bees living and working together in a colony, what is the difference between the workers, the queen, and the drones, how does the queen cell or the brood look like, and how the honey extractor works, what are the parts of the beehive. It is very interesting for the children, but not only for the children, but their parents also. And finally, let me show you something personal. One of my biggest innovations from last year. I invested in the world's best apiary carrier, I think, which can lift more than 200 kilograms and can move on every kind of terrain. And it was made in Japan, almost 50 years ago. This is my Kubota B1001 tractor. So I would like to thank Japan for making this perfect machine and save me from a lot of back pain. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for this very striking and inspiring presentation. はい、どうも非常に興味深いお話いただきましてありがとうございました。それではいよいよ本イベントの締めくくりとして社会的自然的な持続性の観点から考えるアカシア蜂蜜とテーマにしたパネルディスカッションをお届けいたします。パネリストの皆様をステージへお迎えいたします。本パネルのモデレーターはハンガリー農業省のエグリ・リッラ部長がお務めします。So, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude our conference, now we invite the participants of the panel discussion. The theme is Acacia honey from the perspective on social and environmental sustainability to the stage. And the panel discussion will be moderated by Ms. Lila Egri, Head of Department at the Ministry of Agriculture of Hungary.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased to be the moderator of this panel discussion about the beekeeping technology focusing on acacia honey production. Let's see who are the panelists of today. The panelists are practically the presenters of today's conference, but let me introduce one more participant of our panel, Peter André, the director of the Agricultural Marketing Center. AMC is a national organization which performs community-based agricultural marketing activities. So let's speak a little bit more about acacia honey. Acacia honey is, as we could learn from the presentations, acacia honey is one of the most well-known and popular monoflora honey in the world. And Hungary is very famous about the acacia honey production. My first question about acacia honey production and the difficulties of the production of this kind of honey is to Ildikó Arany. As we could learn from the presentations, it is not easy to produce acacia honey, and in our fast-changing world, including climate change, what kind of ecosystem services can acacia honey provide, acacia tree provide? Do you think, Ildikó, that there is a future for acacia tree and for acacia honey production?
Thank you for the question. Okay. Can you hear me? Does the microphone work? Okay. So the question was complex. So let me start with the first idea of ecosystem services, because I'm not sure everyone is familiar with the term. Basically, by ecosystem services, we mean all kinds of benefits, either material or non-material, that we can have from nature, like food and raw materials, but also aesthetic value or spiritual value, or clean air, clean water, and fertile soils. So really everything. We deeply depend as individuals and as society on ecosystems and on nature. And black locust or acacia, that's synonym names. This tree is really good in providing ecosystem services because its wood and timber is really valuable and it grows fast. So it's quite productive tree. And as was mentioned many times today, it has a perfect honey. But also, it can contribute to climate resilience in Hungary. As it was also mentioned a couple of times that in Hungary, especially the summers, are more and more affected with drought. And there is a problem with water availability. So there are areas where the native trees are struggling in some areas. But black locust tree still manages to survive and provides its ecosystem services. For example, hosts many animal species like nesting birds. So yes, in short, I think it is absolutely valid in Hungary. And also one more idea, one more thought is that as was mentioned, this is not native, this tree species in Hungary. It was introduced in the 19th century. But since it provides a lot of ecosystem services, it can kind of take the pressure from the native trees that can be the native forests, which are also quite a large area in Hungary, can be more natural, meaning that less intensive management would be possible there, because black locust is really good in providing the services from trees that we as a society need.
Thank you for your answer. As it isn't easy to produce acacia honey, but Mr. Stansley in his presentation gave us some very interesting tool which can help us. So I turn to our beekeeper colleagues, especially to Mr. Bonai now. Compared to other types of honey, what is the characteristic of producing acacia honey? Do you have a special beekeeping management that can convince our precious bees to maximize the production?
So we have some strategies for this and some management because we have some problem with this blooming period. It comes very, very early for the bees because the nest is not enough big, and that's why we should get some way more and more nectar collecting bees. So we have some possibilities, maybe from 2 hives, from 2 families, we take only one. So combine them, take a queen, and after that managed it to be and collect together. So that's one technical possibilities for us. There is another one. We take the bees one place. After that, the nectar collector honey come back this hive. And after that, we put this hive another location. And after that, take another beehive that location. So we combined the 2 families all together, and the nectar collecting bees can work together, bigger number than before. Also, another possibility to larger frame. They use a larger frame, so we have a very big frame in our hives. Many times, it's more than 40 centimeter long, and the other parameter is 36 centimeters. So it's quite a big surface, quite large surface for bees. And because of the nectar volume from acacia, it's a huge number in kilograms. We can use a scale, and sometimes it's more than 10 kilograms per day. So it's enough space on the frame, in this frame cells, to collect this amount of honey. So it's also a good opportunity for us. And acacia can give us a high number of little flowers and so much nectar, and very high level of sugar. And this sugar content give the bees a better possibility to collect so much honey. So it's also a good possibility for us. And we can separate the honey, because this blooming period is between other blooming periods, and because of the sugar content, they prefer to collect the acacia honey nectar. And at the end of the blooming period, we can collect very good quality acacia honey and pure honey. So.
Thank you very much. I didn't know about these very interesting practices, so thank you for sharing them with us. Now, let's talk a little bit about the governmental measures. So I turn to Mr. André. What kind of government measures are taken to promote acacia honey at domestic and international market?
Okay, so distinguished guest, His Excellency István Nagy Miniszter Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the invitation and thank you for your participation to the event. Let me be very short and very focused on the main issues because we have not so much time left of us. So, the most important fact that beekeeping and honey production is one of the most smallest sector in the total whole Hungarian agricultural sector, but this is one of the most important because the big proportion of the Hungarian whole biodiversity and food supply chain is based on beekeeping and honey production. Because of this fact, the government of Hungary is totally committed in maintaining this sector, and the Agricultural Ministry worked out the most complex subsidization system in the whole European Union with the most highest level of subsidies in the total EU level. If you would look for the total picture, Hungary is production about 25,000 tons honey per year, and we are exporting 15,000 per year, and in the inner consumption is about 10,000 tons. What does it mean? It means that we need to export more than 15,000 tons honey per year. This is the main challenge for us, because if you are looking for the whole European consumption and production, you can see that 260,000 tons is production per year in the European Union, and is important more than 160,000 tons. And the most important fact that there are very big differences between the quality of these honeys, because the price level of the imported honeys is 3 times lower than the exported honeys from the EU. That means that the quality of the honeys coming from the European Union is much lower quality. And these honeys are blended in the European Union, and from Hungary we need to cope with these honeys on a very low level of quality. And much proportion of this honey is coming from China, about the questionable quality. And Hungarian beekeepers need to compete with this very low price level. What can we do? We can make a Hungarian promotion campaigns arousing the consumption in Hungary. In the last decades, we can arouse for twice the Hungarian consumption. We are around 1 kilogram per person per year now in Hungary. And it's very important that based on a Hungarian initiation, the European Parliament accepted a law in 2024, which means that all of the blended honeys must sign on the label in a descending order from which countries come into the European Union. So if you are a honey consumer in the EU, you can make a decision. You would like to eat Hungarian honey, German, Spain, Romanian honey, or different kind of honeys coming maybe from China to the European market. And this initiation was adopted in the last year in the whole European Union. So I think it's a very important step in the future of the beekeeper sector of Hungary and in the whole European Union.
Thank you very much. I would have another question to you, Mr. André, because in the presentation we spoke about the educational aspect of honey. So I would like to ask you, what are the awareness raising and educational campaigns in Hungary to improve the consumption and to increase the knowledge about beekeeping, about the importance of beekeeping and the importance of honey production?
So we are in a strong alliance with the Hungarian beekeepers and the organization of Hungarian beekeepers with the Minister of Agriculture in Hungary, and we start and we launch campaigns for arousing the inner consumption year by year. We are using conventional marketing techniques. We are using tasting honeys in different kind of stores and places in Hungary. We are running, of course, social media campaigns in Hungary. And there is a great initiation that every year we are visiting with the beekeepers many schools in Hungary, and we are tasting about 100,000 schools are in Hungary, so it's a very good proportion. And we need to inform, we need to know the Hungarian child that the Hungarian honey is very healthy. You need to consume it instead of the industrial sugars. So yeah, it's very important, and I think, and I hope because of these activities, we can reduce the inner consumption year by year. But that's the point, that it's very important that we couldn't reach the total consumption in Hungary. So we need to look for techniques, how can we cope, how can we compete with the different kind of honeys come to the European market, and the regulation is very, very important. And we think, or we hope that we can step by step in the European Union strengthening the local-made honeys. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the very informative answers. As our time is running very fast, my last question is to Mr. Steinsley. Why acacia honey is so popular? What are the beneficial characteristics of honey?
In Hungary, everybody knows and everybody likes acacia honey. It's because the fructose level is very high in this honey, and that makes it so sweet. But it has not strong taste, so it's very good for tea or coffee or fruits. And what's more, it's very healthy. If you have pain in your throat, if you have cough, if you have problems with your stomach acid, the acacia honey is very good for it. So the healthcare is also a good part of why it is famous for the Hungarian people. And let me tell you why my famous is the acacia. I am a professional beekeeper, and I sell all of my honey in jars. Like this jar. This is a special jar. It was designed by the Beekeeper Association, Hungarian Beekeeper Association. And it only can be bought by the producers. So it's traceable. And bring the producers market advantage against the traders. And it helps the customers to identify the real producers. So it's very good for us. And it provides me more income. And the biggest part of its income came from acacia honey. The high demand makes the high price. And acacia honey price is higher than other type of honey. And in some year, I can produce more acacia honey than all of other types together. So the more than 50% of my income came from acacia. That's why I like it. And that's the other part, because why it is so important for the producers and the customers. Because without acacia honey, I couldn't make my living. And without acacia honey, I think the Hungarian beekeeping wouldn't exist in that level that is.
Thank you very much. I stop here with my questions. Thank you for your very valuable answers. Thank you for being here with us today. I hope that the audience will bring home some interesting information about acacia honey and about the Hungarian honey production. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope to see you next time.
Thank you very much to all your panelists for the insightful thoughts. はい、パネリストの皆様方、本当に有意義なご意見ありがとうございました。はい、ここではですね、会場の皆様よりご質問などをお受けする時間とさせていただきます。先ほどのパネルディスカッションの内容に関するご質問はもちろん、これまでのプレゼンテーション、講演などで紹介された課題について何かご質問などがございましたら、ぜひご自由にですね、おっしゃっていただければと思います。 So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like now to open the floor for questions from the audience. So feel free to ask about the topics discussed in the panel or any of the previous presentations. So, ladies and gentlemen, anyone has any questions, remarks? はい、いかがでしょうか。すいません。すいません、先にお名前をおっしゃっていただければと思います。
ありがとうございました。佐藤正人と申します。アカシアハニーの、例えば UK のソイルアソシエーションのような形で何かハンガリーで特段アカシアハニーのこの認証規格みたいなものはあったりするんでしょうかという質問です。
Kérdés arra vonatkozik, hogy esetleg Magyarországon létezik-e bármilyen szabályozás az akácmézre vonatkozóan, mind a fogyasztására, hogy mit tekintünk akácméznek.
Mondom, innen is mondjam.
Jó, rendben van.
Természetesen nagyon szigorú előírásra van az élelmiszerben. Meg van határozva, hogy hány százalék pollennek kell benne lenni, milyen a cukor összetétele, és mi az, ami igazán akácmézet. A legbiztonságosabban, a leghatározottabban szabályozni.
特にですね、アカシア蜂蜜に関してはですね、規制が非常に厳しく、何をアカシアの蜂蜜と呼べるものなのか、とても厳しく規制されています。花粉の量から始め、糖分などすべて決まっております。国がそれを規定しています。国の規格がございます。
ありがとうございます。
回答になっておりますでしょうか。はい、ありがとうございました。Anyone else? 他の皆さんいかがでしょうか。よろしいでしょうか。はい、それではですね、本日のイベントをですね、以上をもちまして終了とさせていただきたいと思います。最後までご参加いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。お帰りの際にはですね、スタッフより皆様方に記念品としてですね、ハンガリー産の上品なですね、アカシアの蜂蜜のサンプルをお配りいたします。ぜひお持ち帰りいただいて、ハンガリーのアカシア蜂蜜の味をお楽しみいただければと思います。Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us today, and I would like also thank you to our presenters and speaker for their contribution. Thank you very much, sirs and ladies and gentlemen. So, okay, so when you leave the venue, please don't forget to collect a small present of Hungarian acacia honey, so you can take it home with you and remember this really inspiring conversation regarding the sustainability in beekeeping. Thank you very much for being with us today. 本日はありがとうございました。